Here's a look at your daily market report on this Wednesday, the 25th day of June. Before we take a look at what happened at the auction barns yesterday, we'll take a look at what's expected today. Of course, the heat having a major impact on the markets around the state this week, and really aside from a few special customer appreciation sales and a few yearling sales that were scheduled long in advance, most of the auctions really not having enough to even be reported this week or test the market. No report today at Windsor as they're expecting a very light run. No sale at Green City. Unlikely that there's one in Vienna, but we haven't confirmed that yet today. Farmington Regional Stockyards, no early listings there. Now, Springfield Livestock Marketing Center, on the other hand, they'd had a long scheduled pre-vax sale there. They're expecting to have about 2,500 head, so they will be having a pretty good sale today. On Tuesday, taking a look at around the state, SEMO Livestock Auction, they had less than 100 head there, not really enough for any kind of a market test. Ozarks Regional Stockyards in West Plains, they had a light run due to the heat, only 1,016 head there, not really enough for any kind of a good market test. The undertones, however, on the yearlings steady to firm, the calves were steady to weak. No sale yesterday at the Interstate Regional Stockyards in Cuba because of the heat. Kingsville Livestock Auction, they had a light run, 1,352 head. Feeder steers and heifers there were mostly steady. Lolly Brothers Livestock Market, now they kind of had a special sale scheduled there. They had 1,508 head. The majority of the sale there was load lots of yearling heifers. Because of the heat, we noticed this both at Lolly's and at several of the other sales around that had yearlings. Most of those cattle, the heat shrinking them down quite a bit, and they not weighing quite as much as what the advertised weights were when the consigners generally hit those weights awful well, given that they were reputation consigners that repeat several weeks. There at Lolly Brothers, they had 3 pot loads of heifers, 660 to 673 pounds from one consignment. They averaged 666 pounds, brought 345. 4 loads from another consignment, 666 to 695. They averaged 679 pounds and brought 343.75. A pot load of 697 pound heifers, 338 and a quarter. A pot load of 726 pound heifers at 320.50. F&T Livestock Market in Palmyra, they were very light yesterday as well. Not enough to really test the market there much at all. 592 head. Unionville Livestock Market, they had their annual customer appreciation barbecue sale. Lots of reputation consignments there with good quality from start to finish, on top of the free barbecue lunch for all in attendance. They had the World Livestock Championship auctioneer Dean Edge on hand to auction off those fancy cattle yesterday. 2,630 head. The feeder steers and heifers there, the yearlings, they sold $1 to $3 lower than 2 weeks ago. No recent test on the calf market. The feeder steers, medium and large ones, 5 to 600 pounds at 364 to 437.50. 6 to 7 weights at 344 to 388. 7 to 8 weights at 328.5 to 350.50. A package of 837 pound steers at 306.50. 270 head of 850 and 900 pound steers sold in mostly pot loads, 306 to 310 and a quarter. 251 head of steers from 900 to 930 pounds sold mostly in pot loads, 303 and a quarter to 305. The heifers, 5 to 600 pounds at 354 and a half to 387.50. 6 to 7 weights at 388 to 339.50. 34 head of heifers, 753 pounds at $315.75. Box beef cutout values, choice up 76 cents this morning at $395.01. Select down 377 at $378.64. That makes the choice select spread $16.37. Those values based on 62 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. Negotiated feedlot trades so far this week, 2,217 head of confirmed negotiated sales. So far, not a hoof has moved in in Texas or Kansas this week. Iowa's reported about 200 head, 230 to 233. Nebraska had about 1,150 head yesterday. Now, these were mixed steers and heifers. 65 to 80% choice. They all sold at 230. There was a small handful that showed up outside of those feeding regions, likely going to a regional packer. Some steers live sold at 240. But again, that was only 2 or 3 loads there. Taking a look at the futures at midday on the Mercantile Exchange. Live cattle, June 221.57 down 2, August 209.02 down 52, October at 206.25 down 70. August feeder cattle 302.35 up a dime, September 302.52 up 7, October down 2 cents at $300.62. Lean hogs for July 55 higher 112.77, August 111.40 up 45, October 95.65 up 17. Taking a look at the grain markets, corn contracts at midday, 4 to 5 lower. July at 411.5, September 407.25, December at 424.5. Soybeans, 11 to 14 lower at midday. July 1032.5, August 1037, September at 1019. Wheat contracts, 4 to 6 lower. July 531, September 546 3/4, December at 569 3/4. Soybean meal for July 277.10 a ton, down $3.40. Soybean oil for July down a penny a hundredweight at 52.16. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your daily market report for Wednesday. This is Tony Hancock.